So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Michelle Dortanack, and I'm founder of Unnata Aerial Yoga. And I wanted to share with you today a sequence for an entire class, an Unnata Aerial Yoga class. Now that aerial yoga has gotten so popular, there's so many different takes on what aerial yoga means and how to practice with the hammock and what kinds of things to do with it. And for our own teachers even, we have the question of, well, how much should we use the floor and how much do we use the hammock? Because with the Unnata Aerial Yoga style, we do want to use the floor and we want to integrate movements with the floor and the hammock together. So I thought I would put together a sequence today for you so that you could, just get a look, but also in case you wanted to practice it yourself and see and feel what it feels like to you. Okay, so I'm going to start out doing a little bit of sun salutation, although I will edit it down so you don't have to watch, 6 of them or so in a row. We'll start out inhaling, arms overhead, exhaling, fold over, stepping back with the leg and letting the knee sink to the floor so that we can really work on the hips. Breathe in, and we come to downward facing dog. Knees down so that you can lower the chest and slide it forward, curving the back. Downward facing dog again. Left foot forward so that I come back to my lunge, and then stepping at the front of the mat. And I'll come to stand and repeat. Next one will be silent. And of course you can do any sort of sun salutation that you're used to or that you prefer. So on the last sun salutation I would do, rather than walking all the way to the front, and returning back to standing, I'm going to go back to downward facing dog and come up to standing there. And this way the hammock is in front of me. Now I'm going to take my downward facing dog here, and I'm going to alternate what I do with my arms. So standing with the feet hip distance apart, hands together, palms of the hands together. Inhale as I move the hands away from the hips. Exhale as I come to stand and separate the hands. And now I'm going to mimic what I do on the floor in downward facing dog. Inhaling out and exhaling, coming back, returning back to the palms of the hands together, and basically just repeating this movement over and over again. You can do this as much as you like. All right? Okay. And then once I'm done, as much as I like, I'm going to take the hammock and place it around behind my neck so I can give it a little massage. Now, I'm using my hands so that I can limit how far the head goes back, and also so I can place exactly where on my neck I would like it to massage the muscles there. Now, for extra credit and also for extra assistance, if I back up, and the camera will follow me, if I back up a little bit, and then the hammock fabric pulls and gets a little taut. So at that point, I can use my hands, but I can also use my body weight. Hopefully you can see it's a very minimal amount that I'm falling back and letting my own body weight sort of get a slightly deeper massage. It's basically the same as using a massage roller. And as you can see, I'm not straining, I can talk easily. Not that you want to talk throughout your entire yoga class unless you're the teacher. Good. And with all that shoulder warm up and looseness for the neck, I'm going to take advantage of that and come back to my downward facing dog here on the floor, really letting the head go and practicing exactly what I was doing in the hammock. Right? In the hammock before, as I slid the hands here and reached out, no matter which version I was doing, I had to engage the arms and the shoulders in a particular way to strengthen and stabilize that joint exactly for when I want to use it, which is in downward facing dog on the floor. So I'll spend some time here, and of course you might spend more time, but moving on for brevity, I'll lift a leg and come into a standing split. And I'm going to race through this. Normally you want to stay in your yoga asanas longer, of course, but for video purpose, you may not want to sit here and watch someone doing a full practice in real time. So I just did my standing split from downward facing dog, and I come back up to standing the same way I did before. Now I'm coming to hip hang, since I'm showing you sequence more than instructing you how to get in and out of things, we'll do this quickly. And from here, now I'm in hip hang, straightening out my mat. I'm in hip hang here, and I'm going to take myself right into a downward facing dog here with the split, stretching and elongating. And if I so desire, I can increase the stretch of the split, which feels really good. And then we'll go to the other side, of course. Alrighty. Beautiful. Now from here, I'm going to come to stand, and I'm going to use my hands to help me lower down right underneath the hammock and take a little twist. So what I was doing with the hip hang is the fabric was right in the crease, and so it was helping me encourage this outer hip crease to soften. So when I come into a reclined twist like this, I'm helping to find a little more length. You'll always see people sort of hiking that hip up in here. I'm discouraging that from happening. I'm going to go to the other side. And once again, really quick, most of the time you'd want to stay longer. Now I'm going to go back to that twist, but here I am, I'm going to use the hammock to help me. I've slid the left foot in so that I can turn my heart to the right first. And by using the hammock, right, the leg pulling down on the hammock and raising the hips up, not only do I get a little strengthening for the legs, but I get a little more intensity of a twist in my back, just a little more activity as well. So I do one side. Once again, normally you would want to stay longer. Then I'm going to do the other side. Then I'm going to bring both feet in, and I'm going to crawl my legs all the way in so that they're hanging from the backs of the knees. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of core strengthening here. Coming on up, all the way to sit. And just feeling floating. I was using pretty strongly the muscles on the outside edge of my leg there just to lift the hips to come into the twist. And what I just did by coming up to sit was sort of massage down that outer thigh, so that felt good. I'm going to go back to that massage a little bit to release the left leg out and stand on the floor. And here I go. I'm going to come into a twist again. This one is Parivrtta Parshvakonasana. I'm encouraging with my left arm to help push against the right leg to turn my chest. I'm going to shift my hips over to the side. So here's right for me, left for me. So I'm going actually to the right, and I can use my right hand pushing against the hammock to get an even more juicy twist for the spine. Go that way, come back, and optional, if you wish to get a little bit more stretch for your hip area, I'm going to slide the foot in, and I'm coming into a half star. We'll have the camera move around to this side so you can see a little easier what I do. The leg is in it. I bring the arm around the outside of the hammock. You see I'm not in the middle there, but my right leg is sort of cupped around my right shoulder, and I can still move to the right if I'd like to help me get a stretch in the outer thigh, gluteus maximus area. Letting the head rest. It's pretty comfortable. This is a student favorite, I have to say, and it's a teacher favorite too. Alrighty, and then I come back, and we'll do that same thing for the other leg, but just to have fun. This is where I started, and rather than stepping out and stepping through with the left leg, which I could do, I'm going to just allow myself to use a little arm strength, use a little ab strength to come back that way, and then I step back to the floor, just for fun. Okay, so then we do the other side, and I'll speed through this a little quicker. There was the twist, then I slide out, bring the heel in. Remember, arms on the outside, and I lean over, coming into my half star, and then I come back, and I slide this back to the knee, and here we go. One more time back up, and through to sitting. Now from here I'm going to use a little arm strength, a little core. I'm going to allow myself to come right into a rib hang, bend the knees, and lower myself down. And the beautiful thing is, if it didn't work quite so smoothly for you, let's say this is where you're at, you can leave your toes on the floor and use your legs a little to help. Okay? And here I am. From here, I'm going to do a little swinging. We just did a lot for the legs, and so I'm allowing them to relax, letting the belly relax, arm strength, core strength, all of that. Now I'm getting a break from it. And one of these swings, I'll give myself some momentum to come onto my feet, slip the hammock off the shoulders, and give myself a stretch for the arms this way. And breathing there. Big breath in, big breath out. Once again, normally you would stay a lot longer, then I'll come back. Ready for my back straddle. Right around the sacrum, around the outer hips, leaning back, coming upside down. Here I go. Tucking my shirt in maybe. No, I don't think I need to. Okay, from here, and I'll show you from this side. Legs are open. Now I'm going to bring one leg across, the other leg back, and come into a pigeon pose. Just like so. If I want, I can grab the foot and really activating the legs. Let's do the other side. Right, I'm going to do Supta Konasana now. So an upside down Konasana basically is what that means. Supta is reclined. Alrighty. And then from there, we'll come up to stand. And now that I had all this encouragement to open this up and rotation, and also with the Supta Konasana, a little bit of stretch for the inner thigh, I'm going to come into my triangle pose. And I'm going to support my head with my arms. So I slid this all the way up towards the elbow. And here I am, looking up, reaching up. Super easy and delicious. Allowing myself to use the legs now in an opposite way. So when we're flipped upside down and we use the legs, we feel very, very different than when we're actually standing on them and activating through the legs. So that's what I'm doing, is giving myself a comparison while taking advantage of the fact that I've already given a stretch for the inside edge of the thigh. And I'm going to come to the other side. We'll do the same thing, although I won't stay quite as long. There we go. Beautiful. And now I'm back. From here, last little bit, tree pose. So I'm going to gather it up. I personally don't think it matters which leg you start with, so you can choose your favorite. But what I am focusing on is the sole of the foot. Standing on it, wrapping the other leg around. This is my left knee. I'm going to bring the left shoulder through. I can get it a little higher maybe with my hand and balance. I can use the left shoulder pushing against the hammock and the left hip trying to push forward. So the hammock sort of makes me twist a little, and I'm trying to come out of the twist. Okay, I breathe there a little longer normally. I'm going to switch sides. Go. Beautiful. And then coming down. One last time to the ground, standing on my tiptoes, and I can use the hammock for balance if I need it. I'm basically going to now really stretch open the soles of the feet that the hammock was encouraging to soften. I'm going to try and balance, and if you're really not so confident with your balance, you can use the hammock to help you overhead or in front or from behind the back like so. If you actually want to test your balance, you let go of the hammock, wrap your arms around the legs, and just stay there. Way up high on the tiptoes. Try to keep the inner heels together. And there's that. And the last thing I'm going to do is corpse pose or shavasana, which I'm set up to either just come to the floor, or if I was coming from here and I wanted to go back to the hammock, I would just come to stand and lie down in the hammock. Personally, I like the floor, so I'm going to go ahead and lie down. And there you go. And there's my shavasana. So that was a real speeded up version for you of what a class would look like, mixing in floor and air. And for those of you who already are Unnata teachers, maybe this is a fun sequence for you to try out. Okay, have a great day.